Laura for having me back for this year's All Sorts Convention. It's so wonderful to be with you all again, and in sunny Cardiff this time. Some of you might remember me from the previous 2 years. So my name is Baldwin, and I was Deb's editor at Headline Publishers in the UK for the All Sorts trilogy. I'm now freelance, but I continue to work closely with Deb and Headline books, and recently co-authored the World of All Souls Guide with Deb and the brilliant team of Jill, Lisa and Colleen. So today we're going to go back to where it all began and how we at Headline first launched Deborah Harkness as a new voice in fiction with the discovery of witches, and our strategy then to build the All Souls trilogy. So we're going to talk for about half an hour, and then there'll be time to take questions after that. So Viking Penguin in the US bought world rights for A Discovery of Witches in the autumn of 2009. So they were selling translation rights for the book at the Frankfurt Book Fair that year. And there was a huge amount of interest around the manuscript. I mean, everyone could see that this was something really special. And so Headline was very excited to win the UK auction for it. The book went on to sell a huge number of translation deals around the world. I think it's up to 35 languages now. So this was a big acquisition for Headline, and from the start the company was very ambitious for the book, to launch Deb as a debut author at a high level, and to make A Discovery of Witches a bestseller. So once an acquisition is being made, the editor's job is to sort of kickstart the publishing vision and the campaign for the book within the company. So to get everyone focused and engaged and to reading and excited about the manuscript. And ideally that's about a year before publication. So launching an unknown debut author has its obvious challenges, so you're really at a standing start. So bringing the book to life begins with the cover design. So getting the cover right is absolutely critical. It was very important that we create a brandlet early on that would be iconic and unique to establish Deborah Harkness as a big new name in fiction, and also work with the series as a whole, not just for A Discovery of Witches. So we needed a striking design which would capture who we saw as the core readers, while placing A Discovery of Witches as a standout novel for 2011, and not just appeal to those readers who enjoy fantasy as well. So we were publishing it in the wake of the Twilight phenomenon, as well as the successive books such as The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova and Kate Moss's Labyrinth. So we wanted to hit that sweet spot of using familiar visual triggers from those, but marking the book as something entirely new and original. And something which the editor talks to the designer about when they're briefing the cover design is the 10-second test. So, and this is especially important for a debut novel. So when a reader walks into a bookshop and they're presented with a huge array of covers, what is it that you want them to think and feel when they glance past your cover? And what is it that's going to make it stand out for them? So tonally, the key feelings that we wanted to convey for A Discovery of Witches was that it's an epic fantasy world, that it's rich, historically sweeping, and magical, and of course the romance. So here you can see the beautiful design that we came up with for The Discovery of Witches hardback. And you'll see next to it some early reading copies we produced as well with the red and black versions. So seeing the finished cover is one of the really exciting moments for an author and for the whole publishing team. That's when it kind of really starts to begin to feel real and starts to stamp its identity. So alongside the cover design, the positioning of the book with a clear pitch is as important. Normally we would always have a tagline on the front cover to give another sort of intriguing hint about the story. But the title of Discovery of Witches is so clear and evocative that we didn't need it as well. And for the hardback, there's room to include kind of a more substantial cover copy about the story, but for the mass market paperback, it needs to be as succinct as possible, as well as engaging. And again, we want to grab a reader's attention and not let them be bogged down in a sort of long description of the book. And so for this, I really pared back the copy to the core elements of the story. So highlighting firstly epic fantasy world of creatures with humans living alongside vampires, witches and demons. And then the history, discovery and quest side to the story, which is represented by Ashmore 782. And of course the heart of the novel, which is Raynor and Matthew. So using references to comparative titles and authors is also key in the positioning of the book, as well as highlighting the best reviews once they come through, and getting endorsements from other authors whose readership you also want to capture. So for example, Twilight for Grown-Ups was a clear hook for discovery at the time. And here you can see the back cover copy of the paperback for Discovery of Witches. And the pitch needed to be strong and consistent throughout all the material for marketing the book, so not just on the cover. So we went out there with a clear message about what this book is and why readers will love it. So once the look and pitch for A Discovery of Witches was established, this was then carried through for Shadow of Night and the Book of Life. So using the same typography and design approach, with each book having its own take on that, but making sure that all the key design elements are consistent throughout all three, and branding the All Souls trilogy. So I love seeing all the various cover designs and interpretations for Discovery around the world. The book markets in different countries vary greatly in what designs will appeal or how a book is pitched. It's never a one-size-fits-all. So each particular publisher will go with what they believe works in their market. And Discovery has worked, it's been successful in many different variations around the world, as well as in UK and US editions. So despite the fact that the UK and US have different cover designs, we coordinated closely with Viking to ensure that our publications were always in sync. So we release our first editions of the books on the same day. The way it works is that Viking are the lead publisher for Deb, and some headline bought rights. So they set the publication date for each book in the trilogy, and Headline would then follow that. So we liaised with Viking from editorial to marketing and publicity, and would be in touch with them along the way with Deb as well, about coordinating link up on plans where needed. And especially in today's online world of social media, there's lots of careful juggling involved internationally for any early releases or exclusives, ensuring nothing is released somewhere and not elsewhere. But also making sure that you're able to work within the needs of the different book markets as well. So alongside the cover design and pitch of the book, the campaign to engage readers in a debut novel starts as early as possible. First with the people in the book trade, building buzz that will then carry through to the readers and spur them on to buy the book on publication. So obviously the key is to have many people read and talk about the book as possible. For Discovery, we produced early reading copies to send out to everyone in the book trade, as well as to other authors and reviewers. And we wanted these to feel as special as possible. There were black and red versions, as you saw earlier, and a little bit of Discovery with a small Bodleian library card, and a passion letter from me tucked into the front page, which you can see here. And as you all know, with the All Souls trilogy, there's such a huge wealth of material to highlight and use in promotional activity. But we needed a central, focused hook that we could initially intrigue and engage readers in the world of the trilogy. So we used the concept of the four creatures as the core basis for our campaign on Discovery, and asked the question, which one are you? So all the various activity then branched out from that. So using this hook, we created the four creature symbols. And we built a website which was structured around pages with each creature and their characteristics. And we created the Which One Are You creature quiz, as well as different creature t-shirts for the booksellers to wear. And the main thing that became apparent early on alongside our plans was just how active and magnetic Deb is as an author. She's really nurturing her fans and growing the community of readers online with the amazing way that she engages with everyone and invites them into the All Souls world. And you guys became so hooked on every detail of that world. I'm thrilled we've now got a 500-page volume on it with the world of All Souls. Anyway, Caitlin's going to talk a bit more about how the promotional activity took shape for A Discovery of Witches and for the following 2 books in the trilogy.
Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin and I am Deb's UK publicist, and like Claire, I worked on the books right from the day we acquired them. I also grew up in Oxford, so obviously I was going to love them right from the beginning. So, once the aspirations for the book and ultimately the series and the vision for how they will look are decided, it's then the job of the sales, marketing and publicity teams to make that vision into a strategy and a set of messages that will see us from acquisition to publication and beyond, into sustaining a brand with multiple publications. We have really regular meetings to discuss our plans, and we build a timeline so that all the activity across the 3 departments works in unison to a common goal. And we have kind of 4 stages, as you can see up there, to create awareness, to create buzz, which creates fans, which creates book sales. It's the job of the marketing and publicity teams to create assets that will aid the sales teams so that when they talk to the retailers, and also to create distinctive and creative, long-running campaigns that will draw in booksellers and media and readers and turn them into you guys, the beloved fans. So, how do we do it? So, identifying who our potential readers are is hugely important. We do lots of work around it, and then we build a plan of how best to reach and engage with them. So these are the sort of questions that we ask ourselves. Who will love this book? How do we convince them to buy it? Where will they buy it? Which media will they notice it in? And will they come to events if we do them? The publicist's main job is to exploit all their knowledge and connections to get lots of media attention and buzz for the books and for Deb, in print and online and on radio and TV, as well as programming events to make sure that as many people as possible get to meet her. I always say I like to think of my job as working like a wave. It starts with a ripple about 12 months out from publication, and it should grow into a tsunami by the time the book hits the shelves. For A Discovery of Witches, we wanted to use the proofs, the website, the t-shirts and the creature quiz to create a huge buzz, and lots of really noticeable chatting, sharing, and a sort of magical sense of intrigue that would encourage journalists to get excited and in turn draw the readers in and make them desperate to become part of this world. So creating a loyal following. So we knew that all kinds of readers could enjoy this book, but we felt that from the start that the fans that generally people consider as genre readers, romance, fantasy, supernatural, they would be the start of our publicity ripple, if you like, the people who would most likely become our first book champions. These readers are very active online, really dedicated fans of all sorts of books and TV shows, and many also tended to be book bloggers, which was a new thing in 2011, if you cast your mind back, who really shared their enthusiasm with each other across social media, and I'm guessing that lots of you in this room fall into this category. Our aim was to embrace and reward these readers, to create really loyal superfans who would spread the word, spread their love outwards to the more traditional media and to other types of readers. And they were the first people that we gave proofs to, that had bookmarks and extracts, and were the first to gain access to Deb for interviews and Q&As and that kind of thing. And this was the first campaign really that Headline had done that really used lots of social media and bloggers to full effect, and of course hugely helped by the fact that Deb was such an early adopter of social media herself, so she aided us all every step of the way. The second strand of the campaign was to engage the wider reading community and more of the media, and our levers for this were Deb herself, Oxford and libraries. We were really lucky that Deb was happy to throw herself into anything that we suggested, had loads of great ideas, and was determined to engage with her fans directly via her social media and at events. Not all US authors will come to the UK and do a tour, but from the start we all felt, as did Deb, that this was an integral part of building a fan base here. And we always work with Vicky to plan our tours so that, well, we try not to kill Deb, but sometimes we do. But we have them usually concurrent, so she gets a Vicky tour followed by one tour for each new book. And from the start we used Deb's academic credentials, the fact that she herself once found a missing manuscript in the Baldwin, and her obviously personal connection having been at Oxford on all our press materials and the messages that we sent out. And Oxford itself, of course, was a huge asset and obviously unique to us in the UK. So we devised with them a walking tour of Oxford, which I'm sure you've all watched, which we filmed, having got permissions from about 4 bajillion Oxford County Council people. And Deb talked about it on TV and radio. We did interviews on the top of Blackwell's bookshop. We had a really great relationship with Blackwell's, which endures to this day, and Deb does lots of things with them when she's here. And we were also really keen to highlight the role of libraries in the book. So including the body and the walking tour, and then we worked with one of the UK's leading library organisations, the Reading Agency, to give free proofs to all Oxfordshire libraries and to all of the reading groups that they have. And then we invited all those groups to come to Oxford to meet Deb, and so we did an event in a library in Oxford, and that was Deb's first ever UK event for Discovery of Witches, which was fab. And then, what is working? I was wondering if my animated cover would work. With books 2 and 3 in the trilogy, we wanted to create new and exciting campaigns that would recruit even more readers. But we also wanted to retain and reward the readers that we had, those who bought book 1 really loved it. The huge success of Discovery of Witches, it was a top 5 bestseller here, it was in the Sunday Times chart for 5 weeks, gave us a great platform to launch. But we also wanted to make sure that each book felt distinct and fresh with each different campaign. It's my favourite picture of all time. So for Shadow of Night, we used the hugely obviously historical setting, and the really recognisable real-life characters are key. And we knew that the London locations and the Elizabethan setting would be really, really important for what we did. So to exploit that, we did loads of things and we had a really good time. So we dressed up in costume. And
the dresses are very heavy.
I saw the bum rolls on Twitter yesterday. We know all about it. And we went to the locations that are all around Blackfriars, where our office is, and we handed out beautiful scrolls that had the first chapter on, and we talked to everybody about what was in the book, and basically just. And there was another London walking tour, and we had it filmed and it was put out on Glamour magazine, which was great. And we invited loads of our international publishers, and they all came on it as well. And we did a dinner in a beautiful historical undercroft, in a lovely place in London called Bleeding Heart Yard. And we had lots of journalists and readers come to that. And Deb did some events with some other historical authors to really sort of cement her position as a historical writer, as well as all the other key things in the book. And then for the Book of Life, we wanted to get across that this hugely best-selling trilogy was coming to a nail-biting conclusion, and that readers we wanted them to feel so desperate to get hold of it that they'd want to stay up all night to read it. So we built our campaign around that, and we created stay-up-all-night kits that had all sorts of crazy things in, and we sent them to bloggers and journalists and basically said, you'll have to stay up all night and read this, so here's some coffee and here's an eye mask and that kind of stuff. And we had these little kits that all said, shh, I'm reading, and we put them all over everywhere, which was really good fun. And then we also wanted the launch of this book to feel like a huge celebration and a thank you to everyone and to all of you guys who'd come on the journey with us. So we thought, what better way to do that than have a huge pre-publication party? So we sent out these huge invite boxes that had wax seals with bottles of wine that said they were from Matthew's cellar. And that generated a huge amount of attention online. And at the party, everybody received a first edition that was already signed, and they could meet Deb, and they got all sorts of jolly things and raffles and a big bag full of swag. It was great. And did it all pay off? Yes, it did. So the Book of Life went straight in at #1 here. And thanks to all of you guys for all your support. We were just absolutely thrilled that with each book it climbed higher and higher up the bestseller charts, which was fantastic. Now I'm going to hand over to Vicky.
So I'm Vicky, and I work on the marketing side of things. That's all about really developing, sustaining, and growing Deb as a global brand. So we've already talked about the completely epic, get a bit closer to that, the completely epic journey that we've already taken with the All Souls trilogy. From that incredibly exciting first acquisition that Claire talked about, right the way through to a landmark publication. And that paved the way for the rest of the books in the series, really. So Deb is now a major brand author for us. And whilst we're constantly evolving, adapting, and coming up with creative ways of marketing her books, there are some key building blocks that we always put in place for ensuring the book's success. And here's a list of all the building blocks, and I'm going to take you through them one by one to give you a bit of an insight into how we work. So, the first one, most importantly, putting readers at the heart of it. Readers, and when I say readers, it's really all of you guys up here, so thank you for being our readers, are our biggest marketing asset for helping spread the news about Deb's books. And without you, the books just wouldn't have been the success that they are today. And as such, vocal advocates across social media, and by this I mean you are the first people to say how much you love the books, how excited you are about them, and share the content. We put a lot of focus on the fan activity. And this next slide shows you just some of the things that we do, especially to create that kind of early buzz with you. So we've got bespoke merchandise. Kate's already mentioned the t-shirt. We have some limited edition end papers that we did for Times Convert, where you get different colours and collect them. Competitions. And then fan events where you might get the chance to possibly meet Deb in the flesh. I think someone's here today that actually won a recent event to do that. So, next is getting ahead. So it is never too early to start with marketing. And for Deb's books, we normally start our campaign at least 12 months ahead of publication with an enormous pre-order campaign in place. And this pre-awareness campaign is launched predominantly on social media, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, steadily drip feeding a whole mix of content. And this can be anything from kind of behind the scenes footage from the publishing house, maybe the first outing of the cover that we normally do in tandem with Deb, bespoke video content of Deb talking about different elements of the book, and lots of pre-order competitions. And we're in constant communication with Deb at every turn to make sure that we're using the material to the best possible use. And all this pre-order activity really helps to build momentum so that everybody's really kind of chomping at the bit when it comes to actual publication. They just can't wait to get their hands on the actual book. And our latest campaign for Times Convert, that's the most recent book, really was like prime example of this. And we were tasked in-house with putting together the mother of all pre-awareness campaigns. And we had lots of things in place for it, but most kind of memorable, I think, was the sort of animated clock that we took from the cover of the book. And we launched the clock every Tuesday, Times Convert Tuesday. And each Tuesday, we had a new marketing moment where a kind of new revelation was put out. So it could have been the first cover to go out into the world. It could have been a video of Deb talking you through the chapter headings and how she came up with those ideas for them. Or we did this amazing competition, which was to offer somebody, some lucky reader, the chance to be the very first person to get their hands on the manuscript. And we teamed up with the Old Parsonage, a beautiful kind of period hotel in Oxford, so that this person could lock themselves away for the night and read the manuscript. So next is going global, and I won't talk too much on this, but I think Claire's already mentioned, how important it is that we are very connected with all of our publishing partners across the world. And we're in particularly close communications with Penguin in the US. And this is really, really important so that we can make sure that all our messaging is consistent and the kind of positioning around the book all kind of marries up and that we're singing from the same hymn sheet. And although the artwork for the books, they're quite different, I think, generally speaking, all the kind of messaging is consistent. And the other thing is just to make sure that all the different marketing activity that we're doing, all the videos, all the kind of animations, timed combat animations that we're doing, are being spread to the widest possible audience. So not just the UK, but you know, our friends in the US and vice versa. So we're always sharing that content. Thinking bigger. So one of our biggest challenges now is how to keep growing and expanding Deb's families. So to cast the net wider, we're often working with a number of partners, and this can be sort of brand partners, retail partners, and that's sort of bookshops and booksellers, and media partners, and that's really magazines and newspapers. So here's just a sort of snapshot of the type of thing that we've been doing with the different partners. So for retailers, a lot of the time this is Waterstones, so really important for us. And it could be a kind of limited edition book just for them, where there's an extra chapter in the back of the book that you might not get anywhere else. And with iBooks, it could be a kind of early sneak preview that we do with them. Amazon, another really, really important channel for us. It's kind of thinking creatively about what extra content we can put on the book page so that when you get there, it really kind of comes to life. Media partners, we've done things with Glamour Book Magazine Book Club that Kate has already mentioned, Good Housekeeping, and most recently we tied up with a really lovely book subscription company called Illumicrate, and you sign up to receive a book every month, and it gets sent out in a box with some really lovely little trinkets that kind of immerse you in the world of that book, and sort of, you know, makes the experience of reading more active. So that was a nice new partnership this year. And then obviously the competitions that we do, we've got a number of amazing hotels that are always, you know, love their books and can't wait to work with us. So hitting the big screen. We couldn't talk about working with partners without talking about the most recent phenomenon, which is the Sky TV series of Discovery of Witches. And this really offered us a massive new opportunity to reach people that might not have yet discovered the series, and I mean, they are out there. So in order to sort of harness this massive swell of media interest happening around the TV, we worked very closely with the production company Bad Wolf and Sky to make sure that we were capitalising on all the activities they were doing. And we did this in a number of ways, really. Firstly, we created a new cover for the book that matched up with the TV. And then we all launched a massive digital kind of advertising campaign with sort of posts and advertising being promoted and boosted before and after each episode, constantly reminding people where the series came from, where it all started, and, you know, finding out what happens next in the books. Waterstones, again, we did another link up with them. We offered someone the chance to win a private guided tour around the Sky TV set. And we did flyers and the DVDs in cases. And we only have a massive timeline that lets us know when all the major announcements are going out about the show, so that we're right there, ready to kind of promote the books alongside. And another thing was this whole string of collaborative events which Caitlin worked tirelessly on. And Deb was obviously really involved with the whole thing, as were all of us here, and had a lot of fun. But yeah, that was a real kind of integral part to working with them. And it really, really paid off, all the work that we did with them. This graph shows like this massive spike of sales of our books from when the TV was going on. And, you know, big as our glory, but the increase was over about 1,000%, you know, the uplift, so it was pretty good. And then finally, which I think all of us have mentioned already, the most instrumental in all of our marketing activity is definitely having such an active and engaged author. Deb leaves no stone unturned when it comes to letting her readers know about her books. and is relentless when it comes to posting things on her social channels. And here's just a kind of sneak look at the types of things she posts, and you can see it's really engaging, really well thought out content. It's not just buy the book here, the new book's out. It's like, you know, she's really inviting all of you guys to really take part in this world that she's created. So ensuring that we've got dev support and that we are communicating with her all the time to make sure that we're sort of collaborating on every strand of the campaign is definitely the most important thing that I think any of us do. And that's it from me. So I think we've got time for some questions.
That was wonderful. I'm in marketing for a living, so let me know if you're hiring. So if anybody has questions, you can pass the microphone. Just raise your hand, we'll pass this around. I'll do a little bit of walking. So also kind of being in the marketing field. With the first book, I got into the book after Shadow Night had already come out, and it was really from Amazon. I did mostly Kindle reading. And so with the first book, and I did a search, for suspense and supernatural and that kind of thing for Amazon. But you see a lot of, in that genre, you see a lot of authors from Amazon that, the cost of the books are a lot lower, like sometimes 99 cents, and then it'll go up as if there's kind of a series of books. So since Deb was sort of a new author with The Discovery of Witches, and you did an amazing job just from listening to you with the tools in the toolbox for your marketing. Once I read A Discovery of Witches, I really didn't, those toolbox tools I really didn't need because, but with the cost of the book, because Deb had already become established, I was a bit hesitant at first to pay for the book since she was a new author to me. So what convinced me, of course, were the reviews from Amazon, and Deb's credentials ultimately actually convinced me to pay the amount of the book. How did you start off with a lower fee for the first book to kind of get people to purchase it? Or did you just immediately establish it as kind of a high-level author and just initially go into like the typical for established authors, like $14.99 or $15.99 or whatever the cost of the book was? Did you start off at kind of a lower cost for the like Kindle version?
Yeah, so when you're first launching a debut author, there's lots of discussions with the sales team about where the book, which retailers will take the book, and so we think very carefully about pricing and what the export edition will cost as well. And it's very different markets. So I mean, for what we're thinking of as a kind of mass market hardback that we want to become a bestseller, the pricing would be lower at sort of $14.99 rather than $18.99. But then when the paperback comes out, that's the cheaper price. So you're looking for a whole different market when that comes out as well. So yes, we do think very carefully about price. So Discovery of Witches was, it was pitched as we want this to sell across the board.
Right. So an introduction to her as an author, but not by much.
Yeah, but we wouldn't. And then obviously, Amazon has their discounts. But yes, we kind of have there's a standard price. Actually, I've been out of the publisher for a while now, so I don't know the latest. But it's a sort of $14.99 hardback would be kind of someone that you're launching, to become a bestseller.
I think we really wanted them to be a physical bestseller.
Yeah.
So that was definitely part of it. We saw it as a big, epic book for many readers. So we didn't want to pigeonhole it in a lower priced Amazon kind of only online way. We do that for some people. But I think we had such ambition for the book that we were never going to start off with a really low, because you're almost setting out your stall to all the retailers and you want them to notice what you're doing. And so we really wanted it to be a hardback bestseller. And we wanted our high street retailers to really support it.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time thinking about each different retailer and what works for them. And we change the price as we're going once it is an e-book, depending on kind of what happens and stuff. So yes, it's quite fluid. It's a conversation that goes on all the time.
Yeah.
It sounds like from the very beginning we wanted to establish that quality.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Of not kind of setting
Yeah.
a low bar.
Definitely,
yeah.
Setting it up.
Yeah. It's totally distinct to that kind of more genre area, I think. Yeah.
And it's a big book as well. It's a
Yes.
big.
Thank you.
I have a kind of question about one of the covers you did for the books. I've been looking all over U.S. trying to get it from sellers because I know it's not a new publication of the cover. And every time I get the book, it's not that cover, but they say it's the picture that she picked her on the eBay or whatever that's selling them. It's the picture with the Radcliffe camera, with the pictures of with the ribbon going through Discovery Witches. I was just wondering where do you think I might be able to find it?
Yeah, so that was the paperback that we first did for Discovery Witches. I think we'd probably not be able to get it in the US because there are lots of, it's very strictly copyrighted, so we can't sell our edition there to compete with the US edition. So you could probably order it while you're here.
Where would I order it from?
I don't know if it's available anymore. I'd have to check, but I think you would have to get a second-hand one because we change them so every time we're thinking about the next book, we kind of look back at the other ones, and because we wanted that really distinct three-book look for the paperback. Yeah, so you'd have to find one second-hand.
Here, in London, and some people don't have it.
Yeah, no, it's not been in print here for a while with that jacket on. So the only way you'd be able to find one is if it cropped up somewhere in a second-hand bookshop.
Everybody has it.
Probably selling mine.
First of all, thank you so much for what you guys presented today. It was so amazing to see that behind the scenes. My question is, as a graphic designer, I'm a very visual person, so I was wondering what was the decision making for the covers in the UK? I basically see like a red, mostly red, and then black color palette. While, for example, I come from the US, the color palette is more like earthy, more, I think about actually which water, which, earth and green and all of that. So it's more earthy, more, even Times Convert, it's more earthy too, it's like brown and yellow. So I was just thinking why red and the color palette that you guys picked for these covers here in the UK.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had lots of intense discussions about the cover, and I think, as I said, we were looking at different things out there, so the kind of the twilight trigger, and also and the black and red and white is, we wanted something very striking and simple and iconic. So we just felt that those colours worked really well, and there's the vampire premise of the novel, but it had the magical kind of witch feel as well to it. So yeah, it's a different take.
I love it, by the way.
Oh, good.
I want to get them all.
Yeah, and we had lots of discussions. So we actually, Matthew Seal, we had it was sort of in silver foil, and Deb and I looked at that and we thought actually it's more mysterious to have that as a sort of blind emboss. And I played around with lots of different taglines as well, and Deb was actually, well, do we need it? And I was like, no, we don't. So yeah, you have lots of backwards and forwards about the design.
We didn't want it to be obvious what it was about in a way. We wanted it to kind of encompass lots of different styles, so it was really intriguing, so that you would pick it up thinking, well, maybe you knew what it was and maybe you didn't, and something that we could carry across all of the series. Because sometimes you do something in the first book and then you think, well, how am I going to reinvent this for the next one? So we were thinking about the series right from the start.
Yeah. And even with Time Combat that's got slightly different direction, there still is a sort of creative marry-up and definitely the marketing assets that you've read that kind of carries on there.
We have a great creative director.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Hello, I'm Isabelle. I'm French. So when you show us the single over, so my question would be,
adaptation, which was Cameron Levy, which was very, I dare say, shy, especially for Times Convert, which was La Force du Temps. So I wonder, how do you work with the other foreign publisher to make something, especially from France, since Times Convert was about the French Revolution and Freya apartment in Paris?
Yeah, well actually, so it's Viking Penguin in the US who, because they have world rights, they sell the translation rights. So the French publisher would work more closely with them in terms of sort of their plans for the book and editorial. But we are in touch. Sort of, they'll come and ask us at Headline what our plans are for. But yeah, it's also quite separate as well in terms of the different translation markets.
Hello. So you have said that there's never too early to start promoting a book. You mentioned 12 months before it actually hits the shelves. So I was wondering, presumably at that point the book isn't necessarily finished. So how do you actually construct what you say about the book before it's done?
We have a lot of conversations there. Sometimes it is done.
Yeah, it's often the excitement with everybody, really.
Yeah, it's often
What's going on?
the way it works is often the sales team's shouting at the editor, "Where's the manuscript?" Then you have to ask the author. But no, often, I mean, with Discovery of Witches, when it was commissioned on a full manuscript. I mean, there was some edits done, but it was in, really good shape that everyone could read it. And then you're very careful about when you do the early reading copies about which version is being used. So yeah, sometimes that sort of gets pushed back, but again, it's the editor's job to try and keep things moving. So the marketing and sales and publicity teams have material to start early.
We just hassle her a lot.
Yeah.
I also think that creative process that Deb is going through herself when she's writing a book is really great for marketing, because some points might change direction, or things like coming up with chapter headings and how she came to that is all really interesting to share with everybody as we go along, so that you're kind of as much the process as we are.
Yeah. We ask her when she's writing and everything she's doing to kind of always think about what we can share with all of you. So we have a lot of conversations about when can we film her and when can she write some extra bits and has she got some deleted scenes and anything like that. We just shamelessly ask her to give them to us. I can't remember how far in advance we had the manuscripts, but it probably wasn't far off in it.
Yeah, and also, I mean, for things like the Book of Life, actually we wanted to hold that back because the anticipation is so great for the last one. So we just sort of had an early chapter when we did a cover reveal for that, and that was enough to get everyone chuckling at the bit for the whole.
We have a lot of conversations with Viking as well about when to publish, because we're obviously all looking at the market all the time and the time of year and competition that's going to be out there and that kind of thing. So that's thought about really carefully by everybody there and here and Deb, depending on what she's doing, to try and find the best time. So sometimes that's less time, sometimes it's more, just depending on what everyone thinks.
So other than introducing Deb as a new author with Discovery of Witches, which of the 4 books was the most challenging to find a marketing strategy for? They do each have a slightly different tone, so I was wondering if that kind of came into play at all.
First book is always the most difficult. Because it's a standing start, and so you have to invent everything, I think. It's also the best in a way, because it's so exciting when it's a new author and you suddenly read a book that you completely love. Then you suddenly, we had about 100 million conversations about the things we wanted to do with it. So it's really exciting. But it's a massive challenge, I think. A debut book is always the most complicated in a way.
Do you agree with that? Yeah. And also, I think, for the 3rd book, because the first two had done so well, the pressure for it to get it to #1 was also
really
quite scary. I remember there was actually a delay when the figures came in, and then I saw it gone to #1, and I just sort of cried.
We've got a hilarious picture of the two of us with a giant picture of it and a glass of champagne and like crazy things.
One of the easiest books probably to do the marketing for was actually The World of Sold, because all the content inside is so shareable, you know, the kind of wine cellar of Matthew and things like that. So that was a real gift, I think.
Yeah, it's just full of things that you can do things with.
Yeah.
Hi, you've spoken about the colour palette and the fonts for the covers, and obviously the covers in the UK. They're amazing. What I'd really love to know was, what was your brief for the illustration on the front? What did you want it to embody? Because I think for lots of people it could embody lots of different things. And that's where, I suppose it's the different words and things that you might have wanted to convey.
The first book.
Yeah, for the first book. And then, I mean, I love how it's carried through, but yeah.
Yeah. So I think that, I mean, I'd never, when I was briefing the designer, as I was saying, you use tone and words, and it's for them to interpret that. And I think we wanted something sort of iconic and simple, so not anything too busy with lots of illustration. So yeah, I mean, the way it works is actually the editor will brief the designer in a meeting with the sales and marketing team, and you'll kind of decide on the approach, and then the designer will interpret it and come back with lots of different options. So yeah, it's very much, it's not...
So to speak, for them, never be a designer.
Yeah.
They sit there and we all go, no, I don't want that.
I'm intrigued to what words you asked them to report for and anything.
Yeah, so the tone, it was very much sort of magical. I wanted sort of an epic fantasy world. I wanted to sort of feel sweeping and historical. So the kind of mystery with Matthew's seal, but then kind of the sweeping magical feel with the way that the illustration works.
Hi. So as the editor, when you have the first draft and you've read it and got over your immense excitement, can you share with us any of the specific questions you might have asked Deb editorially?
Well, so the way I actually, so Deb's editor at Viking in the US, the way it works is always the etiquette is the primary publisher, that editor kind of does the first edit, or you do it alongside them. So I talk to them first. So the worst thing is if Deb was having sort of me asking her different questions to the other editor she was working with. It would all just become a big mess if we tried to do 2 edits on it. So actually, I discovered Witches was in brilliant shape when I saw it. It was just a bit of cutting that needed doing in the kind of the early part of it. So it was more me saying how much I just love everything about that book. So yeah.
Sorry, I think I actually have the answer to my question already, but it's probably not cost effective. But I was thinking about, from a marketing point of view, and also thinking about how DVDs, you remember DVDs, are packaged. But I thought, just a silly idea, if you guys ever considered a box set that's designed and directed at the 4 different creatures of demon, vampire, a witch, and humans. Maybe you get people to buy all 4. But I was assuming something like that would be cost effective, but I just thought that sounded kind of a fun idea, making people.
It definitely has been discussed, and I guess never say never. But I mean, we kind of experimented a little bit with the coloured end papers that, for Time to Combat, and kind of playing around with those different colours, and will people want to get them all so that they've each got their own colour, and that went down really, really well. So, I think there definitely is scope to do that, and it has been talked about.
We do have a digital binder, first 3, so you can buy them as one, but we've never done a hardback one yet. We probably have to work with a retailer, because as you say, they're very expensive. So you probably have to find a partner who wanted to do them. We do work with kind of bespoke hardback people sometimes, and they kind of pre-sell them and that kind of thing. So yeah, we may do. Watch this space.
Would you buy all 4?
Obviously the text of the book will be the same, but maybe each book has something a little special geared toward the demon. I don't know what it would be.
ask Deb, you know, just like a few minutes for them.
Nice idea.
Well, you never know. We're always looking at all sorts of different things, so.
Hi. Will the TV show be limited to the trilogy, or is it going to be a Game of Thrones thing, where the show surpasses books?
Well, I guess you'd have to talk to Baldwin and Sky about that. I mean, at the moment, there will be the 3 for the trilogy. I have no idea what will happen after that. You'd have to ask them.
All right, thank you so much. That's really